My name is Jennifer Cole. I am 30 years old, and today, I am burying my son. The weight of those words crushes me as the small white casket disappears into the earth, swallowed by shadows and silence. Caleb was only 9. His laughter used to fill every corner of my world. But now, all I hear is the mechanical whir of ropes and pulleys lowering him away from me forever. I press my trembling hands together, desperate to keep from collapsing. The minister speaks words about peace, about heaven, about God's plan, but they fall empty against the storm raging inside me. There was nothing peaceful about 8 months of hospital rooms, tubes, and whispered reassurances I didn't believe. Nothing divine about watching his tiny body fight against a disease, too cruel to name, without trembling. I glance around. Empty. No parents. No sister. No best friend. I'm alone at his grave, while the people who should have stood beside me are celebrating elsewhere. Victoria, my sister, posts smiling photos of her engagement, champagne in hand. Our parents beaming with pride. My family chose her. They left me here, and as I wipe my tears, one thought burns clear inside me. They will regret this. The graveyard empties quickly, as if grief were contagious. The cemetery worker offers me a sympathetic nod, but sympathy feels hollow. My phone buzzes again. Another notification from Victoria's party. I don't open it. I already know what it will show. Smiling faces, raised glasses, a perfect family portrait without me in it. I shove the phone deep in my bag and stare at the mound of earth. When Caleb was born, I promised him he'd never feel alone. I kept that promise until the very end. But when I needed my family, when I begged them to sit with me through the long nights in the hospital, they vanished. My mother sent flowers. My father sent money. Victoria sent excuses. Melissa, my so-called best friend, just disappeared. The silence surrounding me is deafening. I whisper to Caleb, telling him I love him, that I'll never forget him. My throat burns with unshed screams, but another feeling stirs beneath the grief. Something sharp, something cold. I realize then that I'm not just mourning my son. I'm mourning the illusion of a family I never truly had. And in that moment, a vow takes root. I will make them pay for abandoning us. Grief has a strange way of reshaping time. The days blur together, yet each night drags endlessly. I wake from nightmares of hospital monitors, only to find myself in another nightmare. An empty house. Caleb's toys remain untouched in the corner. His favorite blanket lies folded on the couch, holding the ghost of his warmth. The world expects me to move on, to be grateful his suffering is over, but I can't let go. Every memory cuts like glass, and every message from my family deepens the wound. Victoria sends a short text. Hope you're okay. That's it. No visit, no hug, just a handful of empty words from the sister who swore she'd never leave me. But maybe this is a gift. Their absence is clarity. They chose their lives, their comfort, their celebrations over my son. Now I see the truth. Blood doesn't equal loyalty. I sit at the kitchen table, staring at my reflection in the dark window. I look hollow, but something fierce glows beneath the emptiness. My pain is not weakness. It is fuel. They stripped me of everything I loved, but they underestimated me. I whispered to the night, "You will all see me again." Not as Jennifer the grieving mother, but as Jennifer who survived. I start with Melissa. She was the easiest to find. Her life is plastered across social media. She's smiling in every photo, holding cocktails, showing off her new boyfriend. The same woman who cried with me through my divorce couldn't shed a single tear for Caleb. I invite her for coffee. At first she hesitates, but curiosity wins. She arrives in a bright red coat, looking exactly as she did the last time I saw her. Except, I see her differently now. I see betrayal stitched into every detail. We sit, and she tries small talk, asking about work, about whether I'm coping. as if grief were a checklist. My patience thins. I ask her why she never came. Her smile falters. She mumbles excuses. Work, distance, bad timing. I lean closer, my voice low but steady. You could have been there for me, for him. You chose not to. Her eyes dart away, guilt flickering. She mutters an apology, but it's meaningless. I walk out before she can finish her latte. Cutting her out feels like shedding dead weight. One down, but the real targets, the ones who abandoned me when Caleb needed them most, are still ahead. My family. The house feels colder than ever, but I keep myself busy. I start writing everything down. Memories of Caleb, the betrayals, the lies. At first, it's just journaling, a desperate attempt to hold on. But slowly, it turns into something else. A map, a plan. Each name has its own page. Mother, father, Victoria. I list their failures, their excuses, their betrayals. Writing them down gives me power over them. Each line I write feels like reclaiming a piece of myself. I dig through old photos, birthdays, family dinners, Christmas mornings. They smile in every picture, but I can't unseen it now. The cracks, the favoritism, the way Victoria was always the shining star, while I was the shadow. They loved her ambition, her success, her perfect engagement. My pain was inconvenient to them. Caleb's sickness was a stain on their perfect picture. I stare at their faces, one by one. My parents, who turned their backs when I begged for help. Victoria, who chose diamonds over her nephew's funeral. I close the journal, my hands steady for the first time in months. They took Caleb's memory and treated it like nothing. I will take something from them they can never replace. The engagement photos spread like wildfire online. Grand Horizon Hotel, chandeliers dripping with crystals, guests in gowns and tuxedos. Victoria looks radiant, her fiancé handsome and smug beside her. Our parents beam as though they've won a prize. Each photo is a dagger, not because I envy her, but because she dared to celebrate while I buried my child. She didn't just ignore me, she erased me. I create a new account under a false name and begin to follow the threads of her life. Where she shops, where she works out, the charity gala she's planning with her fiancé. Details slip out in captions, tagged locations, and careless comments. It's easier than I thought. Victoria lives in a glass house, and I now hold the first stone. But revenge is not impulsive. Revenge requires patience, precision. I will not scream at her. I will not beg her to acknowledge my pain. I will dismantle her world piece by piece until she feels the same emptiness that consumes me every day. The gala is in 6 weeks. I mark the date. That night, I whisper to Caleb's photo, "Mommy's not weak anymore. Mommy's ready." I return to work after weeks of silence. Colleagues murmur condolences, but their eyes flicker with pity I don't want. I smile thinly, keeping my grief locked inside. They can't know what lies beneath it now. At night, I study Victoria's world. Her fiancé, Nathan, comes from money, wealth that gives her the life she flaunts online. But money isn't armor. It's a target. I dig into public records, business dealings, property. I find cracks, lawsuits settled quietly, debts buried under layers of shell companies. Nathan's empire is not as perfect as he pretends. The more I learn, the clearer my path becomes. I won't just hurt Victoria emotionally. I'll ruin the foundation she stands on. But this isn't only about her. My parents stand proudly by her side, ignoring me like a blemish. They will feel it too. Their golden daughter's fall will be their humiliation. Each discovery I write down in Caleb's journal, like seeds waiting to bloom. His name steadies me. I remind myself, this is not cruelty for cruelty's sake. This is justice for a boy who deserved more. And when the moment comes, I will not hesitate. The charity gala approaches like a storm on the horizon. It's billed as a glamorous evening, to support children's health initiatives. The irony nearly makes me choke. They ignored Caleb, yet now they toast themselves for caring about sick children. I purchase a ticket under a false name. A black gown hides my thin frame, my hair pinned back in a style unrecognizable from the Jennifer they abandoned. The ballroom glitters with chandeliers, filled with laughter, the clink of champagne glasses, the stench of wealth. I linger in the shadows, watching Victoria. She's flawless in silver, her diamond catching the light. Nathan stays glued to her side, the perfect couple. My parents float between guests, all smiles and pride. I snap photos, every angle, every indulgent gesture, proof. The world will see their hypocrisy. When Victoria takes the stage to speak about compassion and generosity, I nearly laugh aloud. I imagine Caleb in the hospital bed, whispering he was okay, even as he burned with fever. She wasn't there. None of them were. I slip out unnoticed, clutching my photos. The night wasn't about confrontation. It was reconnaissance. The time for masks is ending. I begin leaking the first pieces quietly. Anonymous emails to journalists. Photos from the gala, paired with public records of Nathan's lawsuits. Financial documents I obtained through late-night digging. A picture begins to form. The dazzling couple hiding cracks beneath their shine. The articles spread slowly at first. Whispers in local columns. Then larger outlets pick it up. Engaged philanthropists face questions over financial dealings. Victoria's perfect smile suddenly looks brittle under the weight of scrutiny. My parents call me for the first time in months, not to ask how I am, not to apologize, but to warn me about getting involved in matters that could hurt the family. Their hypocrisy ignites a fury so deep, I almost tremble with it. You cared more about her engagement than your grandson's funeral. I spit into the phone. My father goes silent. My mother starts to stammer excuses. I hang up. For the first time, they feel a fraction of the abandonment I endured. But this is only the beginning. I won't rest until their empire of lies collapses completely. Victoria shows her true colors faster than I expected. Instead of facing the accusations, she doubles down, staging interviews about her unwavering commitment to helping children. Watching her posture as a saint nearly makes me sick, but the backlash grows. Nathan's investors pull out of projects. Lawsuits resurface. Their glittering life begins to dim. Behind closed doors, I know they're panicking. Melissa reaches out to me suddenly. She's read the articles and wants to check in. I ignore her. She's part of the rot I've cut away. My focus remains on family. At night, I dream of Caleb. He doesn't speak, but his eyes, so much like mine, look at me with quiet strength. I wake in tears, but the vision steals me. I'm no longer just the grieving mother. I am a storm, and storms do not apologize. Rumors swirl of Nathan's company facing bankruptcy. Victoria is spotted crying outside a restaurant, paparazzi catching every tear. For once, she can't curate perfection. I send her a message from an anonymous number. Did you think you could erase me? Did you think you could erase him? No signature, no clue, just the truth. The thought of her reading it while her world crumbles gives me a dark satisfaction. But satisfaction isn't enough. I want her to feel what I felt. The emptiness of standing alone when everything you love is gone. I want her to beg for help and find only silence. For that, I need patience. My parents finally come to see me. They look smaller than I remember, weighed down by stress. My mother's eyes are red. My father's shoulders sag. We're worried about your sister, my mother says, voice trembling. I stare at them, my grief sharpening into ice. Were you worried about your grandson? Silence. My father tries to explain, fumbling words about timing, about not knowing what to do. You knew what to do. I snap. You chose not to. They beg me to help mend the family. to support Victoria through this storm. Their blindness enrages me. Even now, they choose her pain over mine. I close the door in their faces. For years I longed for their approval. Now, I want their regret. The media frenzy grows. Investors flee. Charities distance themselves. Victoria's fiancé avoids public appearances. Their empire crumbles, and every crack is another stitch in my healing. But I know the press cycle will fade. I need something permanent. I dig deeper, hiring someone discreet to uncover Nathan's hidden accounts. The discoveries are damning. Offshore laundering, bribes, forged contracts, enough to ruin him legally. I prepare a package for the authorities, carefully sealed, impossible to trace back to me. Sending it feels like closing Caleb's coffin all over again. But this time, it is not grief I feel. It is power. Justice doesn't always come from courts or gods. Sometimes it comes from a mother with nothing left to lose. Weeks pass, and the fallout is brutal. Nathan is indicted. Headlines scream betrayal and fraud. Victoria disappears from public view. Her once perfect smile, now a ghost. I walk past a newsstand and see her face splashed across the front page. From darling to disgraced. My chest tightens, not with guilt, but with clarity. This is what abandonment costs. This is what betrayal earns. For the first time since Caleb's funeral, I breathe without the weight of despair crushing me. Victoria finally calls me. Her voice is broken, frantic. Jennifer, I don't know what to do. Everyone's turned on me. Mom and Dad are distant. Nathan might go to prison. Please, I need you. For a moment, silence stretches between us. The part of me that once longed for her love trembles. But then I remember Caleb's grave. The cold earth swallowing him while she toasted champagne. I needed you, I whisper. And you weren't there. I hang up. Her sobs echo in my ears long after, but I don't call back. My parents retreat into shame, their proud image tarnished. They no longer post smiling family portraits. Their phone calls grow fewer, shorter, until they stop altogether. I am finally free of their expectations, their comparisons, their conditional love. The silence that once suffocated me now feels like peace. I visit Caleb's grave one evening as the sun sets. The grass has grown over the earth, soft and green. I kneel, tracing his name on the stone with trembling fingers. Baby, it's done, I whisper. They can't hurt us anymore. A breeze rustles the trees, and for a fleeting moment, I feel him with me. Not the pain, not the sickness, just the warmth of his presence. Tears spill freely, but they are different this time. Not only sorrow, but release. Life is quieter now. I no longer check Victoria's feed, no longer crave apologies that will never come. Their world collapsed, and mine rebuilt from ashes. I'm not the same woman who once trembled beside a tiny casket. That Jennifer was buried too. In her place stands someone harder, sharper, but also freer. I still ache for Caleb every day, and I always will. But my grief no longer cages me. It drives me. His memory is not a wound anymore. It is a flame, and though my family may never say his name again, the world will remember what they lost, because I made sure of it.